Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen of the pairs will be analyzed today, but make sure you do stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store. But yeah, guys, it was a tough week for me this week. I had a couple losses on Euro Aussie and a loss on Euro Yen as well at the end of the week. So it was a tough week. We'll go through those pairs, those trades in a moment. But if you do want to skip ahead to a particular pair that you are interested in to see my analysis, feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps below. But yes, as I said, two short positions on Euro Aussie did get taken out for a loss on them. It's the same idea. I just had two attempts at it. Price gave me another signal at that same area of confidence, but essentially I'm looking for a big swing to the downside on the daily chart. We had one high over here, second, essentially looking for a third for a big move to the downside, and I do think we can go pretty far, but at the moment price is not playing ball. We're looking quite bullish again in the 4H. Had a lovely up move. I've been waiting for some bearish structure to start to print, and that's exactly what we got. Some lower lows and lower highs. So at this point now I'm looking for some sells. I did get my first entry, just got stocked out, entered again at the same area because I got another signal, and then there we saw price broke high, and of course now we're holding that area of support. So at this moment in time, it does not look good for the selling opportunities. If anything, this could just be a larger correction of this bullish move, and we could see price, push higher. My high time frame bias, doesn't have to be correct. Yeah, price could still fly to the moon on the higher time frame. So I'm waiting for the full H to start showing me bearish structure again. At the moment in time, we're actually holding my confidence as support, which means we're likely to push higher. So now I'm taking a back seat with that Euro Aussie idea, but I am still bearish. So I will be keeping an eye on shorts, but nothing at the moment. Then Euro Yen took a short here, did take a loss towards the end of the week as well. This one was a counter trend position. Again, counter trends are slightly less probability, at least from my experience anyway, but again, still counter trend is worth trading. They still are profitable positions for me, so still will take them, just not as much as I would do pro trend. But looking for a big swing to the downside here, looking for a larger swing on the daily chart here, back down to the lows. Again, we did see a nice break to the downside, not the cleanest break of structure, but still one that made it sufficient for me to take a trade. Had a lovely pullback to the same area of confidence, very similar entry to the Euro Aussie position we just spoke about, but again, this one didn't play ball and we did fail. And of course, this could just be a larger correction. This could just be a large correction of this bullish move potentially, and price could push higher. Of course, the higher time frames are still bullish for Euro Yen, monthly, weekly, are still bullish in higher time frames. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do start kind of flying higher. If that's the case, again, I'll take a back seat. But I'm not quite interested in the buys. Potentially there could be something if we do get a retest, but I'll see how things develop in the week. But yeah, it was a tough week this week. It's been a tough start to the year, in fact, for myself. But of course, I'm focused on the longer term results in my trading, week to week, trade to trade. I will go through drawdown periods. I will lose trades, break evens, wins. They're all come and go, but eventually, focusing on the longer term edge and the long term results, which is what my focus will be. But yeah, it's been a tough start to the year, but the key thing is stay disciplined. I do have a video which I'll be publishing hopefully next week about drawdown, so do look out for that because it's a very, very important topic of trading, which is not really spoken about too much. But of course, as traders, we have to be comfortable in drawdown, so I will be touching upon that topic in detail, so look out for that video. But on to the analysis. So for Euro USD this week, things are looking interesting. I'm still not really liking the pair, to be honest. It's kind of just a big kind of choppy consolidation, but I have been preaching about areas down here and areas up here, which I will be more keen to buy and sell from. So if we do see a push near down to 1.07, I'm looking for the price to bounce from that area and see some upside, vice versa up here as well. But you can see Euro USD has just been a big range. So not really keen to trade in this area. Nonetheless, there does look like a good shorter, medium-term opportunity. Potentially, if you do see a pullback for Euro next week, looking to try and catch that next low high. I was talking about this area here as a potential area price could use as support to push on. Of course, this was a higher low, which gave us a higher high. Now we've had a move to the downside. We could be seeing a higher low for a move up, but we had multiple attempts trying to push bullish, trying to see price break structure to the upside, but it's never happened. and now we're seeing some strong bearish momentum kicking back down again as well. So for me, as long as we maintain this bearish channel, this bearish structure, there is a very strong chance we'll push down to 1.07, 1.068, which is where I'm looking for some buy opportunities, which maybe we could hit next week. We'll have to see. But there could be some shorter term sells in the meantime. Again, I'm not really too interested. There are some dollar pairs that do look good to short, which I will speak upon later as the video progresses. There's definitely a few pairs which do look good, which will make the watch list for next week, so do stay a lookout for those pairs. But Euro USD is not quite one of them. The condition's not good. The location of where I'm shorting is not really good as well. It's kind of in the middle of a big range, so I'm not too keen on Euro. But if anything, this does look like a good short as long as we maintain that bearish structure. And then of course I'll see how we develop here. I'm not going to be buying straight away as we get there. I want to see price shift in structure, give me higher highs, higher lows, look for some entry patterns before I do take any positions, because price could just break straight through. So I have to see what we do there. But that is the analysis going into next week for Euro USD. And over to dollar yen. So dollar yen this week, nice bullish move to the upside. I was talking about this level here at 146.332. I think after NFP here, we had a big move to the upside from that same level. And also looking to see if we can get a breaking retest of this level here, 148.310. For some buys back into 150. That's still where I'm looking for price to get to. As you can see, big target of resistance here, big move to the downside, big move to the downside, and again, that's still where I'm looking for price to get to ever since we broke through 145, 146. So now looking for more upside now for dollar yen. If we can break the high, that would be fantastic. See a higher high past that swing point, get some pullbacks, retest the level, then continue to the upside back to 150, 500, 151. That is the plan for dollar yen. Everything is still looking pretty bullish for this pair. We're still seeing strong impulsive leg to the upside, structure still pointing up, still seeing higher highs and higher lows. Of course, this higher low is not confirmed yet since we haven't taken out this high, but it does look pretty likely. So if we can see some upside, fantastic. Take out the high, pull back, break and retest. Looking for a move to the upside there back to 151-ish. Looking about 200, 250 pip move there to the upside before maybe some nice sells on the way back down again. So yeah, really liking what I'm seeing with dollar yen for some buys and then for some sells later on. Something similar to what I'm looking for Euro USD, but sells first and buys later. So we'll see if we can get that. But at the moment in time, let's see if we can get the break of structure, pullbacks into 148.380. Then some buys back into 151 for next week. Okay, so over to dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, I'm still not the biggest fan of dollar CAD, as I've been touching upon since the beginning of the year, really. The conditions aren't that great. We're still kind of trading within a bigger range. So again, similar to Euro USD, if we're trading within the middle of a range, it's just a very speculative, indecisive area in the market. So the patterns I'm looking for, the trade opportunities I'm looking for, will always be of less probability than when we are in a larger uptrend or downtrend. And of course, there are trends within the range, but it's just not the best conditions. I'm not saying that you won't get a winning trade, of course not, but it's just not the best conditions we can find. There are better markets with better conditions, hence why I'd rather focus on them. However, it does look like there is still room to the upside for dollar CAD. We still do have this bullish structure at play. Market hasn't taken out this low here. I was looking to see if we can get a breaking retest of this low for some more downside at the start of the week, but we didn't get that. Kind of just got weird up and down price action. We had a lot of news this week, so the market wasn't really trading that well. But it does look like we just formed a larger correction here for move to the upside. We are seeing some signs of strength on the DXY as well, so I do think that can help drag dollar CAD higher. But I would say if you're looking for some buying opportunities, I do want to see price start push higher a little bit further, then look for some pullbacks to retest and take price higher. A breaking retest of this prior high at 1.345 does look pretty good to me. Does depend on how the breakout does happen. For me, myself, I'm not so interested in this pair, to be honest, going into next week. If I was, it would be looking at something like this, trying to ride that kind of upwards move, since we've had a really nice retest of the low of the range. Probably could see a push at least to the middle, which is around 1.36. We may even push the high of the range as well. But this is something I would keep an eye out for dollar CAD, but there are the better pairs elsewhere. If you do want to see my watch list for next week, by the way, check out my Telegram in the description below. But yeah, looking for some buys on a break and retest of 1.345 for next week. And targets, we could be looking at the higher over here, or the higher the price creates, or there are some areas of supply resistance here on the left at 1.36 as well. So up to you with targets, but generally speaking, don't want to push too far, because again, we're seeing a lot of choppy price action in this area. So it's better to be conservative in these conditions. But that will be the plan next week for dollar CAD. Okay, so over to euro pound. So euro pound, nothing's really changed from last week. I did say some buys do look good coming back into this level of support. Big move to the upside. Again, we do have a very choppy structure, so looking to buy low, sell high. It's definitely not a bad idea in these conditions for euro pound, hence why I'm not really looking to do anything with euro pound next week. It's not my watch list at all. Don't like the conditions whatsoever, but nonetheless, it's a strong level of support. We've seen a lot of rejection in the past. We could see move to the upside. Longer term, I actually am looking at something like this for euro pound. A longer push to the downside. We are starting to maintain these lower swing highs. I do think longer term we're coming back to these lows around 0.83, but I do need more development before I start eyeing up any shorting opportunities. As I said, conditions aren't great, but at the meantime, buys do look good here from 0.852. I would still wait for a bit more development on the lower time frames. It's a very corrective move down. There are some signs we're starting to slow down as well. Some equal lows here starting to build up, consolidation as well. Would be nice if we could see some strong bullish momentum coming into play, break of structure, market giving us some higher highs as well, and looking for a break and retest somewhere to then buy, because we have seen some tame signs of bullish momentum. We can see a nice move up there, but again, a lot of wicks there to the upside, which is not a good sign. If you're looking for a counter trend trade, or reversal, so to speak, you want to see really strong momentum against that trend to actually tell you that, okay, potentially the counter trend move or the reversal is likely to happen. Right now, we're still throwing wicks to the upside, which again is not a good sign. We want to see some confident candles pushing higher, breaking structure, then we can look to follow that move higher. In terms of targets, again, I'll just be keeping my eyes on some of these areas here around 0.859, 0.86. Again, I'll be a bit more conservative with the trade here, not to be too, because again, the conditions aren't trending well. When you want to push your trades a little bit further, it's just generally when the trend is strong, because there's momentum in the market, there's a clear direction, so you can be a bit more aggressive with your targets. In these conditions, you want to be a bit more conservative, so keep an eye out on some of those areas. But looking for some shorts to develop. The level I would recommend to look to buy from hasn't formed yet, so need to wait for that to develop next week, but something like this will be the plan for euro pound. Okay, so over to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar still bearish bias for this one. We do have some support, which looks like price is breaking through. I was touching upon this area of broken support time resistance coming into the week. I did say this will be a fantastic place to look to even trade Aussie dollar towards, but of course at the same time look to sell Aussie dollar from. Really strong move to the downside, looking for a correction. I was talking about this range that the price had. I said it would be nice if price can push higher, retest that area and get some shorts. We kind of just missed it by a few pips. Well, maybe more than a few pips, but it would have been nice for a break and retest that area for some shorting opportunities, kind of like a big head and shoulder pattern, left head and right shoulder. But nonetheless, I do think there are some nice opportunities still, because potentially we could be seeing this larger bearish move continue. We got this lower swing high over there, lower low, market then respected that high there. There is a decent chance we could make a way back down to the lows here at 0.63. And certainly if we can continue this bearish momentum breaking through, I'm simply looking to carry on this bearish trend here for some more downside as well. Targets, we can start looking at some of these areas. A lot of momentum there to the upside. That could make for a nice target around 0.638. So looking for this bigger head and shoulder pattern neckline to snap, which we've seen some signs it is starting to break, but I do want to see price really start to pull away. Let's see if we can get some similar momentum to what we got over here there again. Then that's fantastic. Looking for some pullbacks, retest, then again looking to short and continue the trend. And the Aussie dollar is definitely a dollar pair which does look good to me, because there's a lot more clarity in the direction. So compared to euro, I'd rather be looking for shorts on Aussie dollar than Euro USD. Of course, they are similar pairs, but this one just has much better conditions. So this is something I'll be keeping an eye on next week for Aussie dollar, looking for some shorts around 0.65275. But as I said, do want to see a bit more momentum to the downside before I do look for some pullbacks. But that'll be the plan next week for Aussie dollar. Okay, so over to NZD CAD. So it does look like we are breaking through this area here at 0.82. So things are looking interesting now. Seeing a lot of bearish momentum piercing through that level there as well. There is a possibility we could be coming back down to these lows. We did respect structure over here. Now we're coming back down into, well, potentially coming back down into these lows here as long as we maintain structure. So shorts look a lot clearer now, especially with the momentum breaking through. Looks like we're really starting to establish a nice bearish trend here as well. So similar to Aussie dollar, I just want to see a bit more momentum to the downside before I do start looking for pullbacks. But this is kind of what I'm looking for, just a bit more downside, retest this area, lovely support level. Got some confidence building up at that area. Successive lower highs, looking to see if we can catch the next one. And again, looking for some more shorts to the downside. So again, the clarity with this one is just really good, especially breaking through the higher time frame level of support. Trend looks good, seeing some strong momentum, high time frames line up as well. And again, targets look good as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be all the way down there, but coming back to some of these areas again, they all look good for targets for possible trades, up to how far you want to push your trade and the risk reward you're after. But potentially we could be seeing a move back down to the lows of around 0.795. So keep an eye out for that. But as the CAD, this is the plan. A little bit more downside, pullbacks into that area. And again, looking to short from around 0.81 next week. Okay, so pound NZD is an interesting area as we discussed last week. I said coming into this level, I'm still short buy, still looking for a move down. However, we're not quite seeing the structure and the momentum I'm wanting to see. Did have a fairly nice move to the downside, but again, it still does look like a larger correction here for pound NZD. So I'm wondering potentially we could see a move to the upside, similar to what its cousin did, pound Aussie. That had a pretty big move to the upside, so it does look like maybe pound NZD could look to follow. But overall, we haven't broken through structure yet. We still do have our lower high here, which gave us these lows. So as long as price doesn't do something like this, I'm still bearish bias. If we do break through, then I will be swapping that bias completely, looking for a move back to the highs there. Obviously not in one go, but in terms of my directional bias, it will be taking a U-turn. So at the moment, looking to see if the market is going to hold this area. If that's the case, let's see if we can get a big break structure to the downside, possibly a big double top, and then I will be looking for some shorts and a retest of some of those areas. So essentially what I'll be looking for is for more established bearish structure, more established bearish trend to follow to the downside, and then take some shorts back down to the lows here around 2.01. As I said, if we don't do that and we start breaking through the high, then again looking for some pullbacks, maybe a retest of this area here, and looking for some buys accordingly to take the move higher. Because either which way, if the market is going to sell off, there's a long way down to these areas. The market is going to push up and continue the large uptrend. You've got a long way to go to those areas, and again, that's the only thing the market can do. Once it does print a swing low and swing high, eventually the market will either take out the swing high or eventually will take out the swing low. All you have to do is decide which high or which low is more likely to be taken out, or which high or which low the market is most likely to move towards, and then it's simply just look for your trades in that direction. At the moment in time, I'm still favoring shorts, but if we do break structure, the probability changes to the upside, then I will be looking for some longs. So this is kind of the plan, the game plan for pound NZD next week. Not looking to do anything with this price action. As I said, it does look very corrective. I'm not really a big fan to follow that to the downside, but if we do see some more bearish momentum come in, another swing high, then I'll be keen to follow. Same thing to the upside as well. If you get a strong impulse move breaking the high, I will be looking for some breaking retests to again follow that higher target. Could just be the swing high the price creates. I'm not seeing anything too clean, maybe apart from this low here. This could be something to keep an eye around 2.11, but I'll make my mind up closer to when I take the position. But at this moment in time, that will be the plan next week for pound NZD. Okay, so over to CAD yen. So this is a similar setup to dollar yen in terms of we do have an established bullish trend here in the full H. Does look likely that price is going to move back to the highs here at 111. So we could be seeing some more upside. I was discussing this level here last week. I said the only logical place that it would make sense, well, only two logical places that would make sense according to my analysis to buy CAD yen from would be if the market was to make a double bottom back at the level, or if we do break the high and retest. Now we've done the double bottom, the only logical setup that would make sense to me is if price can break, retest, and then continue higher. Again, you probably want to drop to the lower time frames to make sure the risk reward does look good. But now that we've done double bottom, I suppose we could do a triple bottom, but at that point, this just becomes consolidation, and I wouldn't really want to be trading it anyway. So now that we have seen aggressive reaction from this area, the trend still does look like it's intact, and the momentum is still to the upside. Again, high time frames for CAD yen is still pretty bullish. Monthly, weekly, daily still showing a lot of bullish momentum. I'm still looking for a bigger counter trend move, but again, at this point, we're not seeing any signs of that. So I would imagine the most likely move next would be back to 111 and maybe some new highs as well. So if you are on the low time frames, hourly and below, breaking retest of that level there, 110, 250, 200 does look like a really nice opportunity, just riding that momentum across multiple time frames and taking us back to the highs there at 111. So yeah, CAD yen does look like a good buy. Let's see if we can get the break and retest. If we do start melting to the downside, taking out this structure, taking out these lows, then I will be looking for shorts again for CAD yen. But until then, the buyers are still in control. So that's kind of what I'm favoring next week for CAD JPY. Okay, so over to pound USD. So the pair of consolidation, it does look like we're likely, it does look like we're imminent to see a breakout of this consolidation. Yeah, it's been very, very hectic, but I do actually really like pound USD because, again, big consolidation does normally mean a big breakout. And if we can see a retest, I do think that will be a really, really good opportunity. Again, not looking for anything too crazy for this one. Still keeping an eye on 1.245. That is the level I plan to short price towards if I do get an entry. But again, the market's had a few attempts here to try and continue this bullish trend we've seen over the past couple of months, 3 months maybe. But each time we failed, and we are still just about printing lower highs. But again, this is pretty much just a range, so I wouldn't really look too much into the swing highs and the swing lows. Just classify it as a range and just wait for the breakout. So the plan has stayed the same for the past month, ever since we had this big move to the downside 3rd of January. Been looking for price to break the low, then retest, and since then we just had a choppy price action. So now the breakout looks quite likely. We've had a big move up, big move back down again. Let's see if we can break structure, get some retest, and then again short from 1.26192. So that remains the plan there for pound USD, as it has been since the start of the year, and it does look imminent. Of course, we haven't broken through, so we could still do something like this, but as I've been saying, as long as we stay in this range, I am not interested. Breakout, then yes, I am interested to follow that momentum. So let's see if we can get the break to the downside. This one will make the watch list if we get the breakout. And yeah, you can either look to short to this area here, which does make sense here, but I'll be looking to push my trade a little bit further back into 1.245. So that's the plan next week for pound USD. Okay, so over to pound CAD. So pound CAD still looking for a move to the downside. Again, conditions aren't great, but there is still a slight bearish pressure towards the market for this one. You can see the market's making lower highs here ever so slightly, still respecting this major level of resistance. So the plan is still to look for a move back down to the low here. But again, conditions aren't great. The higher time frame trend is slightly up, but overall it's a little bit sideways as well. We haven't made a higher high in a while now, so the uptrend's a little bit fatigued. Bearish trend's not even clear really. So again, for me, conditions aren't really great, so I'm not really intrigued to trade it, interested to trade it. But I can see a nice break of structure there. The market looks like it's starting to print some lower highs, so this could be a nice measured trade there. Retest the high, and as long as we respect structure, I would imagine us likely to move back down to the low here at 1.68460. So for me, myself, I will take a skip on pound CAD. As I said, there are better pairs out there. But if you're looking to trade it, this move here does make sense if we can maintain that bearish structure. So looking for a move back down into 1.68460. Let's see if we can hold 1.70500. But the plan is still looking to short pound CAD for next week. Okay, so over to pound yen. So another yen pair. I've been waiting for some shorting opportunities, some counter trend opportunities with this one, but nothing has really developed, manifested. Price is still respecting prior resistance and support, which again is still bullish price action. I've been saying I wanted to see some strong momentum down, breaking through low lows, low highs, taking out some of these lows. We did see some nice momentum on Friday, but again, it hasn't taken out any key low and hasn't really sustained itself either. So with pound yen respecting that area, there is a possibility pound yen could just continue higher. As I've said with the yen pairs, higher time frames are still bullish. So although counter trend opportunities do look good, again, we do have to take them with a pinch of salt because everything is still pretty much up on the higher time frames. And again, for this one, I wouldn't be too surprised if we just go and take up a high here at 188 and see some new highs past that. So if you are looking at trading pound yen, again, for this one, I'm not really seeing a good buy opportunity at the moment. Maybe on the lower time frames, if I scale to the hourly chart, if we get a breaking retest of this area here, this could be a nice trade even on the lower time frames to take and push back to the high, but it's a little bit too close to resistance for me. So I'd rather wait for price to see if we can break through the high and get a retest. Again, not really my type of opportunity here, a little bit too high up, just up taking major highs. Not to say that we can't continue the trend, the trend's been continued for a while now, but again, I'm not really so keen to be buying at these heights. There we are. But in terms of looking for continuation of this trend, again, this makes the most sense, looking for price to continue, break the highs, new swing high, pullback, and then looking for continuations on a retest somewhere. 188, 500 looks like a fantastic place if you can get a nice meaningful impulsive breakout of that level. So pound yen for me, buys do look good on the retest of that high. If we are going to start selling off, then I want to see price starting to take out some of these important lows here, take out the low, of course, that we created there, and then I'll be looking for some retest and some shorts to then sell. And of course, that would be something I would really like to see. But we shall see what happens next week. I can see price going both ways. So it's up to the market. Market will make its move. We can react to that. But either which way, the buys do look good at above 188.900 and sells around the 185.200. But it depends how price breaks out. So keep an eye on pound yen. There could be some nice opportunities with this one next week. Okay, so over to gold. So gold does look like we're gaining some strength. The only thing I don't like about gold, well, there are two things I don't like about gold. One is an important one, which is the fact that we're still trading in a big level of high time frame resistance. So again, as I've been saying, I don't really like buying at these prices. We've seen a lot of rejections here. So as a swing trader, I don't really like to hold positions here for a while because there's a good chance by the end of the week, end of the day, price is going to reverse against me. Day trading, that's a different thing. You can take advantage of a move within a session, within a day. Of course, that's different, but holding trades for a longer period of time, it's going to be difficult to see a sustained move high unless we just see a big breakout, which of course could happen. But it does look like price is starting to gain some strength again. We are still printing higher lows here, 1, 2, potentially 3 over here as well. We are starting to print some more as well. So the market is starting to break high. This descending bearish channel has broken as well. We've just about taken out that wick high there too. So it does look like there's a good chance we could move back to resistance up here around 2080-ish. So into that high where we had that big wick and where we retested it again. So yeah, around 2088. There's a good shout for us to make that move there to the upside. It's just the location which I don't like. Doesn't mean because I don't like the location, gold is not going to make a move higher, and the fact that we might be seeing some bullish momentum on the DXY as well. But again, just because the DXY is bullish doesn't always mean gold will be bearish. In times of fear, we can see that kind of happen at the same time. Gold bullish and dollar bullish, just gold's more bullish than dollar. But with the DXY moving up, there is a good case the gold can look to turn around as well. But we'll see how the week develops. But from a technical standpoint, the market's still printing high lows. We're breaking out some bearish structure. This looks to be a large correction from this bullish move, and I do imagine we could see a move higher. So if you are looking at gold next week, buys do look good. Let's see if we can get back above this level here at 2037. If we can hold that, throw some wicks to the downside, look for the next high low. This to me looks like a decent buy opportunity for move back up to 2088. So for me, for the reasons I just spoke about, I'm not looking at gold buys, but I can definitely make sense of a buy position here. around 2040. So keep an eye out for that for gold back to 2088 next week. Okay, so over to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I was speaking about some buying opportunities coming into the week. I did say a retest of this area does look good. Never saw that happen. And I was talking about retest of this area, which we did see a nice move to the upside a couple times. There we go. A nice move to the upside, but again, no real kind of continuation or sustained move there. It was only up for about a session or half a day. But I can still see more upside for Bitcoin. Again, I am still pretty bullish for Bitcoin, looking to kind of follow this bullish move higher. I'm looking for a correction, whether we've already seen the correction with this big wick and the market's likely to continue higher, back to 47, 48K, or we're going to get a bigger pullback, possibly back down to 35K, retest some areas here, maybe even 30K down here as well. Those would be fantastic areas to buy Bitcoin, in my opinion. But again, with Bitcoin, we're already seeing a lot of momentum, so I wouldn't be too surprised that if this is the next major high low, and we're going to see Bitcoin start attacking higher. If that is the case, however, I do want to see another strong impulsive break of this high, because at the moment in time, the market's starting to run out of juice a little bit. We're starting to stall out these areas here where we saw a lot of momentum in the past. There is a good case we could see price topple out here, form a lower high, and start becoming bearish again, and we see that bigger pullback to those areas on the higher time frames I spoke about, which do look good. So if that's the case, fantastic. Maybe some counter trend sell opportunities for some bigger buys later on. But if the market is going to go bullish and we've printed our higher low, the market is ready to see its next bullish leg back to the highs again. Let's see if we can see another strong break of the high, get some pullbacks, retest it, and then be on our way. So I am looking for more upside here with Bitcoin, but not quite convinced yet until we see that next break. If the market just starts stalling out, rejecting resistance, firing a lot of wicks here, then we could actually go into a short-term bearish trend to go and test those high time frame areas of support. So I can see price going both ways, straight away bullish, break the high, continue, or bigger pullback. It just depends what the next kind of information price gives us. If we can see a break, then we'd be looking at this, and again back to the high there, 47, 48K. So that is the plan next week for Bitcoin. And last but not least, we've got our bonus pair, which for this week is NZD USD, another dollar pair. So again, as I said at the start of the video, there's some dollar pairs that do look good. NZD USD sells, Aussie dollar sells, pound USD sells if it breaks to the downside. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe dollar yen buys possibly on a break and retest, but definitely NZD USD sells, Aussie USD sells, and pound USD sells do look good. For each of them, I do still want to see a bit more downside before I still look for pullbacks, of course, especially with pound USD as well. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. Market still respecting higher time frame structure. It does look like that higher time frame, 4H time frame head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder, same as Aussie dollar, has come into play. Looks like we're starting to really break through that neckline as well. So if again I can see a sustained push to the downside, pullbacks, retest, continuation looks really good. I've been eyeing up NZD USD for a while. I've been talking about breaking retest of this area. Again, very similar to Aussie dollar. They've both been very, very similar since the start of the year, looking for the retest of that level to then short. This one just missed out by a few pips, unfortunately, but now we're seeing more momentum to the downside. So missed that break and retest. Will I catch this break and retest? Potentially. Let's see if we can get some more downside like we did over here, break through, and then possibly get a retest on 0.60659. Again, if the higher time frame trend is going to continue, there's a good chance we could come all the way back down to 0.58 as well. So there is a lot of downside potential for this one too. But nonetheless, there are some good healthy targets we can aim for as well. Doesn't always have to be for the home run, and I'll make my mind up whether I do look for the home run or not, depending how things are looking and shaping up for the trade. But this is the idea for now for NZD USD, with some minor targets around 0.598 and 0.591 or 0.59. So yeah, that is the bonus pair for next week. NZD USD looking really good. I'll keep an eye on Aussie dollar as well. Again, I'm not planning to trade them both, but whichever one gives me a setup or the best setup, I will look to see if I can get some entries for. But yeah, guys, that does bring us to the end of the analysis. If you have enjoyed it and found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button. Really does help out the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos or streams in the future. Hit the bell that will probably do a better job to make sure you don't miss out on anything. So make sure you do go and hit that. If you do want to see my watch list for next week, I do have my Telegram in the description where I do post my watch list every single week. So check that out. And if there is a pair that you are interested in for next week, drop it in the comments down below. I'm interested to see what you guys are looking at. But guys, thank you so much for staying tuned in the video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you do leave a like on your way out. But have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next one.